There is a rhythm beneath the noise of the world, a harmony so ancient and precise that it has shaped everything from the spiral of galaxies to the beat of your heart. This pattern is not hidden in some distant mystery, it is here, woven into the fabric of everyday life. For those of us who have seen decades come and go, who have watched the world change and felt ourselves change with it, there is something comforting and deeply empowering in realizing that beneath all the uncertainty there is an order. Not the cold order of control or rigidity, but the graceful symmetry of nature itself. This code is simple yet profound. It is the number 4. 4 is not just a number. It is the foundation of the world you move through each day. The earth turns through 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, autumn, not merely to mark time, but to mirror your own transformation. In winter, we retreat and reflect. In spring, we awaken and grow. In summer, we expand and express. In autumn, we release and prepare. These are not just changes in weather, but metaphors for the soul's rhythm, inviting us to live in tune with the cycles we often ignore. And it's not just poetic. Scientific research confirms that human physiology is seasonal. Studies from the University of Cambridge have shown that our immune systems, even our gene expression, shift with the seasons. Nature moves in quarters, and so do we. This pattern repeats across the compass rose of life. The 4 directions north, east, south, west have guided travelers for centuries, not just in geography, but in consciousness. Indigenous medicine wheels from Native American traditions mark these directions with emotional and spiritual qualities, the east as beginnings and vision, the south as trust and growth, the west as introspection and letting go, the north as wisdom and clarity. These are not outdated rituals. They are living maps of the psyche, tools to navigate the complexity of modern life, especially as we age and seek deeper meaning. Look at the body you inhabit, the remarkable vessel that has carried you through joy, sorrow, triumph, and loss. It too speaks in force. For primary elements support your existence: earth, water, fire, and air. Earth is your structure, your bones, your skin, your breath's anchor. Water is the blood and tears, the emotional memory stored even in your cells, a fact confirmed by research into how trauma and emotion affect DNA and cell behavior. Fire is your mind, still sharp, still able to shape your world with every thought. And air is the unseen spirit, the breath that has never left you no matter how many birthdays have passed. Science backs this up more than you might think. We now understand that the brain doesn't stop changing in later life, it remains plastic, adaptable. Neuroplasticity allows for continued growth, learning, even emotional transformation well into your 80s and beyond. When you breathe deeply, when you meditate, when you focus your attention, you are not just calming yourself, you are literally rewiring your brain, reinforcing the pattern of presence, clarity, and vitality. And this too happens in 4 known states of consciousness: beta, alpha, theta, delta. Beta is alertness. Alpha is relaxed focus. Theta opens the door to insight and memory. Delta brings deep restoration. You move through these every night as you sleep. These states are not mystical fluff. They are measurable on EEG scans. They are the mind's architecture, and you can learn to navigate them deliberately to restore energy, improve memory, and awaken creativity. Even the DNA in your cells bears the mark of 4. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. These 4 base pairs carry the code of life. And more fascinating still, researchers at the NIH have found that DNA responds to emotion, sound, and light, meaning your thoughts and feelings are not private whispers into the void. They are instructions. They tell your body how to heal, how to age, how to change. This means you are not at the mercy of time. You are in a living dialogue with it. If you begin to see your life not as a linear descent, but as a circular dance through phases, elements, and energies, a great shift occurs. You stop seeing yourself as fading. You begin to understand yourself as evolving. The 4 stages of life: childhood, youth, adulthood, elderhood are not a staircase down. They are a spiral upward, a return to center, each turn deepening wisdom, clarity, compassion, and purpose. So what does this mean for you today in practical terms? It means you can begin to live aligned with the natural code. When you feel overwhelmed, reflect: which element is out of balance? Are you lacking grounding, earth? Is your emotional flow stuck, water? Is your thinking chaotic, fire? Is your spirit disconnected, air? Use this question like a compass. When you feel tired, go outside, touch the soil. When you feel sorrow, let the tears move. When you feel scattered, light a candle, focus your thoughts. When you feel lost, breathe deep, return to stillness. The world may tell you that your best years are behind you. That change belongs to the young. But nature tells a different story. Nature says every season has its glory. Every age its wisdom. And the pattern is still here, within you, around you, waiting to be remembered. You don't need to reinvent your life. You only need to realign it. For elements. For bodies. For seasons. For truths. Begin today by observing which of the four needs your attention. Then act. Small steps, taken with intention, open large doors. The pattern is waiting. So are you. All true journeys begin not with a step forward, but with a turning inward. As we grow older, we begin to realize that life was never about racing ahead, but about remembering what was always within. The world taught us to value youth as the time of strength, but few told us that elderhood is the age of depth. Now is when you begin to see not just the surface of things, but the undercurrent, the hidden geometry of life. It whispers in dreams, speaks through silence, and reveals itself through a pattern we can feel more than explain. That pattern lives inside you, expressed through what I call the four layers of self, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. These are not poetic inventions. They are observable dimensions of your experience, validated not only by ancient traditions but also by modern science. Each layer corresponds to one of the four classical elements: earth, water, fire, and air, and each one holds a practical key to personal transformation, especially in this chapter of life where reflection gives rise to wisdom. Begin with the physical body, the layer we know best. It is the earth within you, the bones that carry your steps, the skin that touches wind and water, the breath that roots you into presence. As we age, this layer speaks more loudly. Joint aches, muscle stiffness, slower movement, all signs that the sacred vessel needs deeper care. But what most don't realize is that physical degeneration isn't inevitable. Research from Harvard and Stanford confirms that strength, flexibility, and even cellular regeneration can improve well into your 70s and 80s, especially through consistent movement, nutrient-dense food, and mindful breathwork. Think of Tai Chi, walking in nature, or gentle strength training not as exercise but as acts of reverence. When you tend to the body as a garden, it blooms regardless of the season. Then comes the emotional body, your inner water. This is the layer few are taught to understand. It holds every wave of feeling you've ever experienced, the joy of holding a grandchild, the sting of loss, the quiet pride of overcoming hardship. Emotions are not irrational forces. Neuroscientists now know that emotional energy affects not just mood, but immune function, inflammation, and even gene expression. A study published in Psychological Science found that people who regularly express gratitude experience lower blood pressure, better sleep, and more robust heart health. This is not magic. It is biochemistry. Emotions, like water, must move. When ignored, they stagnate. When honored, they nourish. Speaking your truth, journaling, allowing tears to flow, or simply naming what you feel out loud, these are not soft acts. They are how we clean the river. Next is the mental body, the fire. This is your inner architect, the seat of thought, imagination, and decision. While modern culture often equates aging with cognitive decline, the reality is far more hopeful. Brain scans reveal that older adults often show more balanced activity between hemispheres, which enhances problem-solving and creativity. You have a deeper library of lived experience than any algorithm, and your mind, when tended, continues to shape reality. The key is focus. When thoughts are scattered, fire burns out of control, fueling worry and confusion. But when directed, fire becomes light, insight, inspiration. Practice conscious thinking. Choose empowering narratives. Learn something new, not to fill time, but to keep your internal fire lit. Even 5 minutes of meditation or visualizing a goal can strengthen neural pathways. Your thoughts are not background noise. They are blueprints. And then, the most elusive but essential layer, the spiritual body, your air. This is not religion. This is connection. The feeling you get when you stand under a sky full of stars and remember that you are part of something vast. This layer cannot be seen but can be felt in moments of awe, love, intuition, and synchronicity. Scientists have begun to study this too. The field of neurotheology explores how spiritual practices alter the brain, often increasing activity in regions associated with empathy, compassion, and well-being. Breath, especially, is the bridge. Slow, conscious breathing activates the vagus nerve, which lowers stress hormones and increases heart rate variability, a key marker of resilience and longevity. The spiritual body reminds you that you are not just flesh and thought. You are awareness itself, watching the seasons of your life unfold from a quiet center that never changes. These four bodies do not live in isolation. They dance. When one is neglected, the others compensate. When all are aligned, we feel whole. This is not philosophy. It is practical design. You can use this structure to check in daily. Ask yourself, how is my body today? My emotions? My thoughts? My spirit? Which one is calling for attention? Which one needs nourishment? This is a habit of mastery, a way to stay in dialogue with your deeper self. Even 10 minutes of tuning in, stretching, breathing, journaling, praying can shift your entire state. Over time, these small acts create a steady transformation. You stop living on autopilot. You begin living with artistry. The truth is, you were never meant to live fragmented. You were designed to be whole. The physical body grounds you. The emotional body connects you. The mental body directs you. The spiritual body uplifts you. Together, they form the map of your being. And the beauty of this map is that it is never too late to read it again. It is never too late to align. No matter your age, your energy is listening. Your cells are listening. Your soul is listening. Start now. Choose one layer to tend today. Breathe into it. Move with it. Speak to it. And slowly, steadily, you will return to yourself, not the younger version, but the wiser one. The one who walks with clarity, grace, and power. The one who remembers. There comes a time in life when the desire for more is no longer about collecting things, but about embodying truth. At a certain age, you realize that the deepest yearning is not for possessions or recognition, but for alignment. You want your outer life to reflect the quiet wisdom that has grown inside you over decades. You want to live in such a way that your presence speaks louder than your words. And the key to this kind of life is desire, not the restless craving of youth, but a sacred longing, a pull toward wholeness. In ancient teachings, this longing was honored as a compass of the soul, and it was understood that what you desire at your core is what you are destined to become. But desire, like a seed, only grows when it is planted in the right soil and nourished by intentional action. Today, I invite you to explore how desire becomes manifestation through the 4 sacred centers of your body, each one a gateway to creating a life that reflects who you truly are. Begin at the base, the root just below the spine. This is the seat of safety, structure, and physical stability. In energetic traditions such as Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, this center corresponds to the element of earth. When your root center is balanced, you feel grounded and secure, capable of building and sustaining what matters most. But when blocked, it manifests as anxiety, financial instability, or a general feeling of disconnection from the world. Science supports this ancient wisdom. Studies in somatic psychology show that chronic stress can dysregulate the nervous system, leading to persistent fear responses and even immune dysfunction. Practices like mindful walking, gardening, or spending time barefoot on natural ground known as earthing have been shown to reduce cortisol levels and restore physiological balance. Tending to your root is not just symbolic. It is biological. When you nourish this center with calm routines, good nutrition, and physical presence, you begin to lay a new foundation. So ask yourself today, where do I need to feel more rooted? What step can I take to strengthen my base? From the root, we rise to the heart, the emotional center where water flows. This is the realm of connection, empathy, and the magnetic power of love. It is here that desire begins to shape the field around you. Emotions, especially those connected to the heart such as gratitude, compassion, and joy, are not merely feelings. They are measurable energy fields. Research from the HeartMath Institute has shown that the heart emits an electromagnetic field that can be detected up to several feet away, and that coherent heart rhythms improve not only emotional well-being but also mental clarity and immune function. When this center is open, you draw in what aligns with your deepest values. When it is closed, you repel connection and relive old pain. Emotional openness is not weakness. It is magnetism. Begin a daily practice of heart coherence. Place your hand on your heart, slow your breathing, and recall a moment of deep appreciation. This simple act can shift your nervous system into balance and invite more meaningful experiences into your life. Desire flows strongest from an open heart. The third center is the mind's eye, often called the third eye, located between the brows. This is the center of vision, clarity, and inner knowing. Here, desire becomes direction. You begin to see not just what you want, but why you want it. Neuroscience has confirmed that visualization activates the same brain regions as actual experience. Olympic athletes have used mental rehearsal for decades to improve performance, and now we know it works in daily life as well. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine a desired outcome, be it healing, reconciliation, or a creative project, you are engaging your brain's default mode network and setting a neurological path for action. Your thoughts become a kind of GPS, guiding your behavior toward the future you're shaping. To strengthen this center, spend 5 minutes each morning seeing your ideal day unfold. Speak aloud what you see. Act as if it is already real. The brain does not distinguish between imagination and memory. It records both as instructions. Finally, we arrive at the crown, the center above the head, the point of union with something greater. This is the realm of spirit, the breath of the divine, the infinite air that moves through you. Here, desire becomes surrender. You begin to realize that your deepest wishes are not random. They are reflections of the universe desiring to express itself through you. In this space, you do not push. You allow. You listen. You remember that you are not alone. Studies on spiritual practice have revealed profound health benefits, including reduced inflammation, increased longevity, and greater resilience to life's challenges. Whether through prayer, meditation, or moments of silent awe, this center invites you to trust in the invisible. When it is open, you feel supported. When it is closed, you feel isolated. Connection to spirit is not fantasy. It is function. And the most practical thing you can do is pause each day, lift your gaze, and say thank you to life, to time, to the breath that still moves you forward. These 4 centers, root, heart, mind's eye, and crown, are not abstract ideas. They are living engines of creation. When one is blocked, the others must compensate. But when they are aligned, your desire becomes a living current, shaping your experience from the inside out. So I ask you now, gently but clearly, which center in you needs the most attention? Which one have you neglected in your busyness or your grief? Begin there. Focus there. Bring your breath and awareness to that part of you. Let it speak. Let it guide your next action. Because the truth is, you are not done creating. You are not too old to build something beautiful. The structure of your life can still change. Not by force, but by alignment. Desire is the architect. Attention is the tool. Breath is the fuel. And now is the time. Not someday. Not when the world settles down. Now. This moment. The code is within you, and it is waiting to be lived. To master the mind is not to dominate it, but to learn its language, to sit beside it like an old friend and understand the patterns it weaves. Many people assume that with age comes mental decline, that our minds become dull, inflexible, or incapable of transformation. But this is not the whole story. What neuroscience has shown us, especially in the last 2 decades, is that the brain remains dynamic throughout our lives. Neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to rewire itself, does not end in youth. In fact, people well into their 60s, 70s, and beyond can still grow new neural pathways, form new habits, even reframe deep-seated emotional responses. But to unlock this potential, we must stop treating the mind like a machine and begin seeing it for what it truly is. A multidimensional temple of awareness, a living interface between the seen and unseen. The key to this temple lies in understanding the 4 brainwave states that shape our consciousness: beta, alpha, theta, and delta, each one a door to a different layer of perception. Most of us live our waking hours in the beta state. This is the realm of logical thinking, decision-making, conversation, and attention to the external world. It is essential for functioning in daily life, but when we stay here too long, the mind begins to race. High beta is where stress lives, where news cycles and digital distractions pull us in 100 directions at once. Prolonged time in beta has been linked with elevated cortisol levels, increased anxiety, and reduced immune resilience. To restore balance, we must learn to shift out of beta and into deeper states of consciousness on purpose, like moving from the surface of the ocean into still, healing depths. That journey begins with alpha. This is the frequency of flow, of gentle awareness. Alpha waves emerge when we are calm but alert, such as during a walk in nature, while listening to music, or just after waking. According to researchers at the University of Wisconsin, alpha states are highly associated with creativity, insight, and reduced depressive symptoms. In this space, your brain becomes more receptive to new ideas, more open to subtle inner cues. You remember more clearly. You feel more deeply. You connect dots that once seemed far apart. To enter alpha deliberately, slow your breathing. Close your eyes. Begin to notice sounds, sensations, and thoughts without judging them. This is not idle time. This is mental tuning. The more often you visit alpha, the more easeful and resilient your mind becomes. Beneath alpha is theta, the gateway to the subconscious. This is the realm of deep meditation, memory integration, and emotional repatterning. Children live in theta during their early years, which is why they absorb information and behavior so rapidly. In adults, theta is most commonly accessed during REM sleep or through guided meditation, hypnosis, or certain breathing techniques. This is where long-held beliefs can be rewritten. A 2018 study published in Nature Communications found that theta rhythm enhancement during sleep improved memory consolidation and emotional processing. Imagine a space where trauma loses its grip, where limiting beliefs dissolve like fog in sunlight. That space is theta. You can begin to access it by practicing slow, rhythmic breathing before bed, listening to binaural beats, or visualizing a moment of profound peace. Your brain is always listening. The stories you repeat here become the reality you live tomorrow. And then there is delta, the slowest, deepest brainwave. Delta is the territory of healing, cellular regeneration, and spiritual communion. It emerges in deep sleep, and in rare cases in advanced meditative states. Some traditions call this the field of non-duality, the place where separation ceases and only presence remains. From a scientific lens, delta sleep is when the body repairs itself most intensely. Growth hormone is released. Inflammation decreases. Memories are filed. But there is more. Spiritual practitioners have long described delta as the space where divine intelligence whispers through intuition, dreams, and wordless knowing. While you may not consciously live in delta, you can touch it each night by honoring your sleep as sacred. Create a restful space. Dim lights in the evening. Turn off screens at least an hour before bed. Drink calming teas like chamomile or lemon balm. Your sleep is not wasted time. It is the canvas where your subconscious paints the life you will live. These four states, beta, alpha, theta, and delta, are not separate rooms. They are a staircase, and each step offers a different kind of wisdom. Learning to move between them is not about escaping reality. It is about reclaiming control over how you experience it. You can begin to experiment. When you feel anxious or overwhelmed, pause, breathe, ask yourself which state you are in. Then guide yourself down. Take a walk. Listen to calming music. Meditate. Reflect. Your mind is not a prison of age or memory. It is a gateway, and the more you treat it as such, the more it will reveal. It is important to remember that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them, the one who can choose which ones to feed and which ones to release. Begin today with one small act of attention. Notice your breath. Name your feelings. Choose one belief to let go of and one to nurture. These acts are not small. They are the way you reclaim authorship of your own story. The modern world trains us to stay in beta, to stay distracted, to live from the surface. But you were never meant to live only from the surface. You were meant to descend into the richness of your inner world and rise again with clarity. So practice shifting your state. Practice listening more deeply. Practice stillness, not as escape, but as preparation. Because in stillness, the mind becomes a mirror. And in that reflection, you will see not limitation, but vast possibility. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when knowledge alone is no longer enough. When the books have been read, the theories understood, the insights gathered, and yet something remains untouched. That something is action. Not the rushed doing of the modern world, but the sacred application of inner truth. At this stage of life, you carry more wisdom than you realize. You have walked through cycles of gain and loss, love and grief, certainty and questioning. You know how precious time is, and perhaps you sense that now is the time not for more accumulation, but for integration. And so, the question becomes simple and profound. How do I live what I know? How do I bring my understanding into form? This is where the final key turns, where philosophy meets practice, and where the alignment of the four truths becomes not just a reflection, but a revolution of your reality. The first truth is about time. For most of your life, you were taught to see time as a straight road stretching from birth to death, a line that could not be altered. But modern physics and ancient insight both say otherwise. Einstein's theory of relativity confirmed that time is not fixed but relative to perspective, movement, and energy. And countless mystics across cultures have described time not as a line, but as a loop, a spiral, a living field that responds to attention. What does this mean for you in practical terms? It means that the past is not a prison and the future is not a fog. Neuroscientific research has shown that when you recall a memory, you are not retrieving a static file but reactivating a neural network that can be reshaped. When you reframe how you hold the past emotionally, you literally change the structure of the memory. You can release old burdens, transform regret into wisdom, and rewrite the emotional charge of any event. This is not metaphor. This is biology. Begin today by choosing one moment from your past that still stings. Then breathe into it, speak compassion to it, and see how your body responds. This is the act of reclaiming time as something you generate, not something that drags you. The second truth is that energy flows where attention goes. This is not just a catchy phrase, it is a neurological and quantum reality. The reticular activating system in your brain is responsible for filtering the information you take in, and it is trained by what you focus on repeatedly. If you constantly attend to lack, limitation, or fear, your nervous system will seek out more of the same. But if you begin to shift your attention, deliberately and consistently, toward what brings meaning, beauty, and possibility, your mind and body respond with coherence. HeartMath Institute research shows that sustained positive focus leads to physiological harmony, improved immunity, and reduced stress. Desire without focus is noise, but desire paired with daily attention becomes direction. Choose one vision that matters to you, one change you want to embody. Write it down. Look at it each morning. Speak to it. Act on it in small ways. The universe is not waiting to test you. It is waiting to respond to you. The third truth is that the universe is within you. Not symbolically, but structurally. Your perception literally shapes your experience. This has been proven through countless experiments in psychology and quantum physics. What you believe about yourself determines how your brain filters experience, how your body reacts, and how your choices unfold. Identity is not static. It is a dynamic command to the field around you. When you believe you are weak, the body constricts, the mind doubts, the energy withdraws. But when you claim that you are sovereign, resilient, and deeply connected to something greater, the field around you shifts to mirror that truth. You may not control every external event, but you absolutely shape how those events are received and integrated. This is the power of self-positioning. Speak today as the person you are becoming. Walk as if your presence shapes the space around you. Because it does. The fourth and final truth is perhaps the most liberating. The matrix, or the system of beliefs and institutions that bind so many in fear and scarcity, cannot hold you if you refuse its rules. This does not mean fighting the world. It means no longer giving your power to narratives that shrink you. Every time you speak your truth, even quietly, you step out of the script. Every time you choose presence over panic, love over control, wisdom over reaction, you are creating a crack in the illusion. Researchers in behavioral science have shown that even a single act of nonconformity can catalyze major social and psychological shifts. You do not need to shout. You only need to stop nodding to what you no longer believe. Ask yourself, where am I still obeying fear? Where am I still waiting for permission to be who I already am? Begin there. Shift your energy. The system cannot recognize what it cannot control. And when you vibrate from alignment, you become invisible to its grip and visible to those who are also waking up. Now you hold the four keys. Time is fluid and responsive. Attention is creative force. Identity is your broadcast signal. and sovereignty is your birthright. These are not abstract concepts. They are daily practices. Sit with them, speak them, live them. Choose each morning which truth you will apply, and let that choice shape your day. You are not late. You are not behind. You are precisely where your soul intended you to awaken. So begin again, with breath, with stillness, with courage. The code is alive in you, and every step you take from alignment is not just healing your life, it is shaping the world.